We're going.
All right, let's get it.
Cool.
Okay.
You got this. So, all right, we're on the mic now. So filters on.
Right.
All right. Welcome to the Take a Seat podcast. This is Mario,
And Clint.
and tonight we have a very special guest in the building. Chris Cade, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, there you go. There
What's up,
you go.
everybody? Glad to be here. You know.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
So how's everyone doing tonight? We're all good? Good?
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, that's Joe
man.
Budden's line. Wait, I don't want to get copyrighted.
Oh,
Never mind.
no.
That's his line?
Yeah, he always asks.
How's everybody doing?
How's everyone doing tonight? Good, good. And then
That's
he'll
such
say,
a stupid question.
he'll say something like, "And I don't give a fuck." All right, cool.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, okay,
and
well,
he'll
then that's
just
funny.
easily
All right.
dismiss- No, he
Yeah,
doesn't
they-
say that to be funny though.
They kind of showed, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Seriously. Anyway, so tonight I wanted to have you as a guest, Chris. I'm
Okay.
talking to Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought you were pretty interesting. Obviously, we've been friends for what is this, 2021?
Yeah.
So really friends 5 years ago, 2016.
Yeah.
Known each other since 2013. Because
Yeah.
in high school, we went to the same high school.
Yeah, yeah.
But I wouldn't say we were like actual friends or even like knew each other. We just knew of each
Oh,
other.
sure, yeah.
Yeah, respectfully. Of course.
Respectfully.
And then after, a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are.
Yeah, after I came back from college.
Yeah. Yeah. So you are an up and coming rapper.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And well, first of all, what's the name of your new album?
Sign of the Times.
Sign of the Times.
Yeah, man.
And that is the one that I thought was a fire cover, right? Where it's like a drawing of you.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, man.
How did you even come up with that, by the way? Because I actually thought that was pretty original.
Which one? The name or the drawing? Or the
Both,
okay.
actually.
Okay, so as far as so of course I actually had the cover before I had the name of the album.
Really?
And yeah, because there's this artist on Instagram, I forget her name, but she does art like that, like cartoons of people. She also does like super like abstract type where it's like, the rooms, but it's like made of squares and the stairs are upside down, like super artsy type.
Yeah.
And so I came across her Instagram. No, actually scratch that. I was on Fiverr.
Okay.
If you're ever like looking for, for creative people, Fiverr is a good app or whatever.
Like specifically for music?
No,
anything.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
anything creative.
Wow.
There's people that do animation on there, like literally like 3D movie type stuff. So, so I was on there looking for somebody to do my album cover, and so I found her. Went to her Instagram and super dope. And so I paid for that art, and then I got another art piece from her, where it's like my head to the side, and it's like shapes and stuff like that. Like it's been on my Instagram, so I have to repost it though. When you archive stuff. But
yeah, I got you.
So so
You mind if we throw those images on the stream?
No, go ahead.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
So after that, I was going back and forth with this album because I had an idea that I wanted to go for, but a lot of times like you'll be going a certain way, and then like God will be like, no, cut that out. And so I literally had intro tracks and stuff like that just didn't make the album. So what I ended up with, at first I had maybe like, I was going on maybe like 10, 11 tracks. And then after that, like I got it down to like 8. And that includes like the
It's kind of like
intro.
an EP then.
Yeah, it became more of an EP. Because it started out, so it started as an EP. I had like 4. Then I was like, maybe it should be an album. So I had like 10, 11.
Yeah.
But then it went back down to EP. So it was like maybe 8. So it's pretty much 8.
But they're all like quality though.
Yeah. And I was able to go if I could go into the story of what it's about, kind of.
Yeah,
just real quick.
please. Yeah, please.
So basically, Sign of the Times is it starts out with a message from the future. So like it starts out with like radio static and stuff like that. And then it's like from a time of if you don't know the book of Revelations, which talks about the persecution of Christians, like the end days, stuff like that. So it's a message sent back in album form about what I feel today's society needs to do, things that they need. Like faith, like we got to work, we need freedom, things like that. So those are some of the all the track names are stuff that we have to view or how we need to act. And then so you go through all the tracks, and then the album resets. It goes back to where the time, in the future, because there was an explosion that went off before the message went through. So then you go to the end track, the outro, and then it rewinds back to the beginning. They kind of reset time before they got destroyed or whatever. So because they survive and then they rewind the time.
So is the entire album like storytelling, like from the intro track to the outro track? Is that like, is there a chronological story going on, or is there an overall theme? Like, is it just a theme of writing from the future to the current day?
Yeah, it's more so of a theme.
Okay,
yeah, so
that's good.
It's not really a story. It just kind of it's kind of like a package. Like these are the things that you're gonna need.
Yeah.
And so the listener is able to open the package and kind of be like, oh, I need this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
And then when they're done with it, then it's kind of like resets. What's a good example of that? You ever seen that show 13 Reasons Why, or heard about it?
Yeah, I've heard about it.
Yeah, where she records the messages and like before she dies and stuff like. So it's kind of like that, where it's like message from the future, and like these are things except it's from the future, not the past. So,
Nice.
So yeah, man. So it's pretty crazy.
What inspired you to get into rap, and what year was that whenever you started?
Man, so really, everything that I do, I always pray about first. When I pray about it, I always feel the Lord leading me. And so he was like, I want you to do music. And it's crazy how everything developed because, all right, so I'll give y'all kind of the rundown. So he told me to do music, and this was in, I don't want to get it wrong. Maybe I say 2018, 2019.
Okay.
So I've only been doing it for a few years.
Yeah.
And so how it started was he told me to do music. And then, but before that, he told me to do a podcast, right? So the stuff I ordered for the podcast came with Ableton. And so I was using Ableton to record, record stuff. But then he was like, all right, do music. So then I was like, I was using GarageBand.
Right.
And then I found out, you could do music with Ableton because it came with a CD.
Right.
So then I started making music on Ableton, looking up tutorials and things like that. And so it was like a transition, podcast. But he knew the whole time, like, you're going to get
2018?
Like, I think 2018, something around there.
And prior to that, you didn't rap at all?
No, I didn't.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy. So like it was the gift kind of started to
manifest.
And it was something where, because that's one thing that people have to realize. Like I always say, like coincidence kills faith, because you can make anything coincidence. You can say, hey, like I had this idea and this is this, and you'd be like, man, what a coincidence. But a lot of times it could get in the way of the faith, because I could tell you that story of how I got the podcast, Ableton, all this stuff, and somebody could say, man, what a coincidence. And then it just kills how strategic God is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like all that to say, like, so I used to like beat on the table, at lunch, stuff like that. But the music thing was never, so it was something that I had, but wasn't revealed to me until a certain time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Wow. So it was pretty crazy. So ever since then, I started with producing, and then I started rapping like maybe like a few years ago. I was producing first, and then I started rapping after. Yeah. I wasn't doing both at first. So,
So who are your influences that you look up to and that you've studied?
So First off, okay, so let me get this out the way first. So my dad has been rapping for years.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. He's been gospel rapping for years, more than 20 years now. So of course I always had my dad there. He's the one that has really guided me, like, and that's why I was able to make a huge leap. Because he was always in the studio like, hey, now you gotta switch this up. Like, do this. But he still allowed me to have my own sound, but he just helped me to shape everything.
Right.
Yeah.
But I say for my influences, as far as producing, Kanye, Timbaland, and going younger, Metro Boomin. And with Metro is his story soundtrack music. I love how it sounds like a movie score.
Unparalleled.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
like he's so talented.
Yeah.
As far as artists, Kanye again. I love the reason I love Kanye is because I feel like he's been in a place where he's always sat on the outside of everything going on.
Right.
Like he can be like, I just wanted to make this because I'm Kanye.
Right.
And people receive it because it could be something that doesn't sound like anything now.
Yes.
But people are still like, oh, that's good music.
Yeah.
You know? And then I love Kid Cudi too. 'Cause I feel like Kid Cudi's done a lot in the singing, like of course in the auto-tune, but like in the how do they say it? Like he goes more on a frequency than just music. Like he connects with you. It's not even about his music. It's like you can feel how he feels. Like sometimes he's not on beat, or like sometimes like he uses weird sounds where you're like, does that go together? But it just works.
His humming,
His hum. Oh my gosh! Like the hums. I had a case of the hums for the longest.
They really do go crazy for the hums.
Man, they go crazy. Yeah. So those are mainly my people right there. People that, because I love rappers, like bigger rappers like Drake, everybody. But the people that really influence me are the kind of the outside people that just kind of creatives. Yeah, the pioneers of certain sounds, like that were like, I see what y'all are doing, but I want to try this, and not caring what people say, but people receiving it like, I see what you're doing. So I know that was a long answer, but
that's fine. Yeah, well, we kind of want people to, outside of whoever knows you, and follows you on Instagram and buys your albums and all that. Like, I think we know certain different people that you may not know, so it's good to like actually get to know Chris the artist, and then Chris the person.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that's good.
That's good.
So, what is the purpose behind you making music?
Yeah, that was gonna be my question. Yeah.
Oh, see, okay, cool. Man, honestly, everything to the glory of God, man. First off. But I really, my biggest goal is to change how people view. Okay, because there's a difference. Like you have the church, and then you have the kingdom, and I think a lot of people need to see more of the kingdom than the church. Because right now, the church can be very limited as far as what we create. So we kind of built a box like, this is what the church is. And so that's how everybody can copy. Like if they go and they're like, oh, I'm about to preach. Like that's from the church, you know? Yeah. But I feel like the kingdom is a life. Like it's like an alternate reality, I feel like. So in that way, like you can live here and say, all right, say like, it was like, all right, here, like you have to stop at a red light. Right? Okay. And you go on green. Yeah. But in the kingdom, it would be something like you go on red and you stop at green. Like it's a completely different way of living. Like I'll give you a better example. Like it's like, okay, here people say I gotta see it to believe it. Yeah. Right. In the kingdom is I believe it and then I see it. Because it's by faith. So even that is switched where people are like, well, I'll believe it when I see it. But it's like, I'm supposed to see it first. Right. And then I'm gonna, you know what I mean? And then I'm gonna see it. Like, it's like, I believe it already.
Right.
Then it manifests later.
Right.
So with that, I want people more so to see that when it comes to like Jesus, it's not just, oh, this is the church. Like, oh, he's talking about that church stuff.
Right.
But more so my music is like, people are like, it's that thing where they're like, what is he talking about? Like, cause I've had people comment on my music and they were like, I can tell, like, they're like, man, I got goosebumps. Cause I can tell you're telling the truth, but like, I don't understand everything you're saying, but they can feel that it's from somewhere else. And so that's what I'm talking about. Like that frequency of being like, I can tell this is music and you're telling the truth, but I don't know exactly, you know what I mean? That's really what I want. And it's not about me trying to be like, of course, you know, I rep Christ. So I'm like, hey, if y'all come to Christ, that's great.
Yeah.
But it's not just y'all need to get this together. Y'all need to, because most of my music really talks to other people that are in the Christian life. That's where a lot of my music is directed. Like, I love other people to listen to it, but it's just a need, I feel like, for other believers to see, hey, there's a bigger life than just, I'm about to go to church, because a lot of times it's good to go to church, but it's supposed to be part of a bigger life. Like, it's supposed to be, all right, we're going to have a meeting while we're living this life. And then when we leave from here, we got more life to live.
So when you say you're writing to believers, when you say believers, are you talking about like people that say they believe with their lips, but their life doesn't reflect it? Is that what you're getting at? Or define believers, like what are the type of believers that you're referring to?
I think you're pretty much, and you know what, I'll say it like this, it's people that want more out of life, but don't know it exists. Like, because I feel like I don't want to say like there's people that have an idea, like they love God like with all their heart. They do. But it's a limitation, as there's limitations in their life where they feel like, well, I couldn't do that. Like you'll be like, hey, like you can go by faith and go forward and do this. And they're like, oh, well, you know, I'm not really a confident person. And it's like, it's not about you. You know what I mean? And respectfully, like, it's like, it's not about that. It's about what is your purpose.
Right.
And then you living the life and going forward and being obedient brings out that purpose. Because at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with us. Like, sad to say, but, and that's one thing that I realized, like with the music thing, because I'm like, man, Lord, I need to like make hits and I need to do this is this. And he was like,
that's not your
That's
job.
not what. Right. So I had to rethink my life and what I was doing. Of course, I'm getting better. I want to get better to reach and certain things with my music and the way I rap and things like that. But at the end of the day, the end goal is whatever he says it is. So when I say a message to believers, it's more of a realization, like there's more to life, not because I'm telling you like, man, you got to live your best life. It's because the Lord needs more out of us.
Right.
It has nothing to do with who we are. So that's
So
yeah.
Where can people find your album?
Okay. So funny story. They can find it on Bandcamp. So you can do chrisk.bandcamp.com. The reason I took a break
we'll put that in the bio, by the way, so don't worry if you didn't get it.
He's a good man. Good man. The reason I've taken a break from streaming is because, don't kill me. In case, now look, if y'all want to do a deal, that's cool. But just streaming for a regular artist, you get like 0.0006 from a stream.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you can get 1,000 streams. Like I remember I got over 1,000 streams on my last album.
Nice.
Appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I had $20 in my account. So it was like, plus, I mean, and I'm big on sharing the wealth. So a lot of like that went to splits too. Like people that were on my albums and stuff, I like, here, I'm gonna give you a big chunk for royalties because I want everybody to, you know, be blessed and stuff. But even with that, it was like, still though, $20. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? And so I was talking to another one of my friends. He's a gospel rapper too. And he was saying like, he's like, man, I did a bunch of streams and I got like $300. But he was like, I did like a bunch of streams. Like, and I'm like, and I believe him because the album was pretty, like it was pretty spread out, but it was just like, and so that's another thing that I talk about like with the life, because I feel like just stuff that needs to be built. That's why I say it's like another life, because it'd be like if you were dropped on an island and then you had to make okay, we need a police force. We need a this, we need a that. But I think a lot of people don't look at the kingdom like that. So it's like they just kind of be like, oh, it's church, and then put it in a box and like, I'm gonna just go to church and then that's my kingdom. But it's like, no, we're supposed to be building a whole life. Like, all right, this is our music, this is our this is our that. But so even this is our streaming, but it's just a lot of work. That's why the laborers are few, and people are like, man, I'm working, and it's like, we're not really building. So I'm sorry that
no, you're good. No, it's for even myself. I don't really understand the intricacies of the, not bottom level, but the level of you're still growing as an artist. It's interesting to me, at least, to hear the realistic problems that you go through. Man. Because like you'll listen to other rappers or pretty much any musician in general. And most people don't really care or even think about like when they mean they came out the dirt, or what they mean by like, I had to work really hard for this. Like, you are explaining the hard part of it. Like, it's really hard to want to get your music around. Man. And then two, to make enough money, not just, I mean, technically you do make music for some profit. Like that's a, you know, you can't ignore that. It's fine. But you need it. But it is a necessity to make money in order to continue to make music. Exactly. So like you kind of need to adapt and like figure it out. So to me, it's interesting to hear that.
And I'll tell you this, man, that's a good point. And that's the thing a lot of people miss. Cause even with before I was like, man, like, what are these rappers talking about? Like, they got millions of dollars. Like, why are they talking about streaming? Because, like, it doesn't matter who you are. It's like, if it's me or if it's Drake or if it's Lil Baby, like, we still have the same streaming problem. Like, they're still getting 0.006, and they could do 1 million streams and make, like, maybe, like, 1,000 something, 3,000. So they're still in this place where they're like, it's not fair for us either. And I used to be like, well, you're rich, but I can't even do that to them, because with us being artists, and plus we're different, you know, with what we talk about, but still, it's still not right. You know what I'm saying? And so like, you're right. And plus when you don't have backing or money, it's like you have to find a place to put your music. You have to get hard copies of your own CDs. You're in charge of your own marketing. You're in charge of this. So a lot of times with labels, people were like, oh no, don't go with labels and stuff like that. But labels do have perks, but it just depends on, I remember T-Pain was talking about it, and he was saying, he was like, guys, like, he's like, it's not the labels, like some labels, they are kind of evil, but like,
did he?
He be into some stuff, but it's like their thing is, it's just like, they're like, man, they won't let me out of my contract, like they're hassling me, but it's like they gave you money. Like if I give you $1 million and I'm like, hey, I need this album, and you're like, all right, bet, and you come out with the album and it doesn't make me $1 million, I'm not just gonna let you leave, because I'm like, I gave you $1 million. And so in that way, he was like, y'all need to pay your money back and then be like, okay, now I need to move. So even with that, it's like, it's tough not having a backing, $1 million backing. You know what I mean? Because then I could be like, for $1 million, I could give you 5 albums, like easy, because I know what it's like to make it with a little money. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah, bro, it's tough, man. It's tough being an artist.
Yeah, I remember hearing that somewhere. It must have been some interview where they were talking about like same, just the expenses and like the reality of what are they called again? The companies?
Labels.
The labels. Yeah. The benefit is resources, really. Like, it doesn't matter how talented you are. If you don't have the resources to put your talent out there, nobody's going to care.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just unfortunately the truth.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah.
So Bandcamp allows you to basically have direct contact with your fans and those that want to support you. And so in turn, it's a little more efficient for you, right?
Right.
Yeah, we won't go into your money. We'll just say more efficient.
Yeah. And they're able to like actually buy a digital album. Yeah. Because I was looking everywhere for, can they just buy the album digitally? And it was so hard to find because, and that was the crazy thing. Like I was searching like, just put digital album, and they were like streaming. And so it's kind of been something where they were like, nah, we can't let you sell a whole album digitally. Like, it's almost like, it's one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, you can, but then they hide how to do it, because they're like, nah, we got to push this streaming thing. Like, we need everybody streaming. If you're digital, you're streaming. And so with Bandcamp, shout out to them because you can turn off like the streams where you stream it for free and just have people buy digitally. Yeah. And so really I've seen like more money that way than I mean like literally like
it's just a little more fair basically. It's just what it comes down to.
Bro. It is.
Yeah, it is. You can have fans and it's great to support, but at the end of the day, bills gotta get paid.
Yeah.
It's just taking it back to like the mixtape era of like Gucci Mane and like everything being sold out the what's it called, the trunk of the car.
Yeah.
It is literally the same thing. It's just digital. So
just digital.
Respect to your grind. But now let me transition to we've been talking to you and it's a great interview so far. At least I think so.
Yeah.
We were talking to Chris K, the artist. But now Chris.
Yeah.
So you explained to us the purpose of like what it is that you're doing with your music, right? And like the objective, it's all really catered for Christian people. But at the root of it, there must be some problem that you see in society or in humans that inspired you to say, okay, I don't know how to, I'm assuming.
No, go ahead.
Correct me, obviously.
Yeah. Go ahead.
There's something I see wrong with society, but I don't know how else to address it. God is talking to me and he's saying, address it this way. And this is the way that you'll fulfill whatever it is you're trying to do in changing the world, or at least those around you.
Right.
So like, not just your purpose, but what drives you to want to achieve that purpose. Like, for example, last podcast or 2 podcasts ago, we were talking about our essence and like if we die today, what are we leaving?
Yeah.
And what's the impact that we're going to have on those around us?
Yeah.
Or even what we leave on this earth when we die, what's going to be, the power of why we existed.
Oh yeah, I heard you talk about
all of that. So taking that into account, what's your take on that? At least for your experience, not just as Chris K the artist, but also Chris K the man.
Yeah. That's a very good question because like even when I heard that episode of y'all's podcast, I was thinking about it myself. Like y'all made me start thinking about it too. And one thing about me is I feel like I've always been somebody that was like, you can choose the same adjectives. Everybody has the same adjectives. Like, oh, he's a funny dude. Like, oh, he's cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, he's pretty laid back. He's chill. Yeah. But like, I felt like as far as bringing my music into it, it has really caused me to be more bold. Yeah. And it really made me look at myself and say, I feel like I was using my laid backness, my chillness, and things like that as a coping mechanism to get along well with everybody. And of course, is who I am. Like, I mean, I really am like that. But like having to take on something like you said, like thinking about it, like leaving a legacy.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't leave that legacy of like, oh, Chris was a cool dude. Like he was a good dude, because that's great. Yeah, that's great, but it's not enough to change society. It's just a good, like, it's a good memory. Like, for example, like, oh gosh, in high school, I was on like varsity basketball. And on the basketball team, the only reason I really made it, I could have done so much better, but the only reason I really made it is because I was a senior. And so, but I didn't even really play. Like, I would get in there like at the end of the game if we were winning, you know what I mean? Just my senior year, like, oh yeah, be on varsity. And so I could have been better, but it was that thing of saying, but still though, I was able to leave that legendary status where it was like, oh man, like, you know, Chris, he was like, he didn't even play much, but he was an upstanding guy. Like he was always there if you needed him, things like that, which is great. But did I change the varsity basketball team? Not really. I mean, I was a good dude, but really I was just paving the way for people that didn't do anything that came after me. Like anybody else that's put in their position where they're just on the team, they could be like, you got to have a good attitude because Chris, see? But it's like, I felt like I didn't really contribute anything. But a good attitude for lack of better words, the losers, the people that aren't the top tier, you know what I'm saying? And so with the music, I'm looking at it like, man, in order to become someone top tier, I have to go against that mentality like, oh, it's okay. Because I would always ask myself, like, why am I not, like, you got people that are great on the basketball team. Why am I on the same team as them and I'm not? Why do I have to be in the group that's like, oh, we're good. Like, we're just hanging out. Like, we're cool, guys. Like, you know, why do I have to be a part of this group? And I love the people, but it's like when you want more, you know, when you want more out of life, you have to challenge that thing to say, because it's very uncomfortable being at the, you know what I mean, to really push past your boundaries and be like, oh, I'm good. Like, it's uncomfortable because, and then this is my last example because I don't want to just over like blah, blah, blah.
It's about you.
But so I went bowling with some of my friends, right? And like straight out the gate, like that's something that I've been praying about too, is like God's been telling me like, I hear you, Lord. It's thunder outside. But no, that he's been telling me to go forward in winning and like really doing my best and dominate. He was like, just do your best, like dominate, do well, because it's like, and not dominating people, but like with who you are, like be the best you, like go all out. And so we were bowling and they were like, you like bowling? I was like, oh, I love bowling. Like, you know, and so first bowl strike. And so as it went, like I was killing everybody. Like I was at like I broke 100 in like the first like frames or whatever. And so the conversation changed. Like at first it was like, all right, y'all, like we're gonna see who's the best. But then it switched to, all right, Chris, like I heard like the other guys talking, they were like, all right, I'm gonna beat you. And I was completely out of the conversation because they were like, Chris is at this place where like we can't catch him. So he's by himself. And so then they started asking me, Chris, are you gonna try and break this amount? And so I had to challenge, it was me versus me. And so I'm realizing with leaving a legacy, back to your question, I wanted to be to a place where I'm put in a place where people are inspired by where I am on my level. I don't want to be in a place where I'm just amongst a group and we can all kind of talk to each other like, man, that Chris, he was great. But I want to be like, man, Chris, I need to go there. And because I feel like you can't, and like they always say, you can't pull people up if you're on the same, like, not level. I'm not talking about levels, but I'm saying like, as far as who you are, because there's people that need to like trailblaze, so that other people can feel comfortable trailblazing. Because I think I look at my personality and people, you know, people kind of like me. They're like, Chris is cool. But I was like, how much more if I'm cool and they trust me? How much more powerful would it be if I go up to a certain level and I say, come this way, they're gonna want to go that way because they're like, I can trust Chris. Like, there's more in me, you know. So that's the legacy I want to be able to. Where I am now, like, I would pray that I don't pass because, like, although people would have good things to say about me, I'm pretty sure a lot of people will come to my funeral and be like, Chris is such an upstanding guy, and I miss him. But in terms of what I did to impact them, would just be somewhere where they can sit with it and be like, I need to be a better person. But it would keep them where they are. Yeah. So, yeah, bro. Yeah. That's how I feel about it. Like, I gotta break through my boundaries because if I don't, I'm just gonna, I feel like I'd be keeping everybody where they are with the Chris that was chill rather than allowing them to see me where I'm supposed to be going in.
Would you say that that's your greatest struggle in life currently, or what is your greatest struggle music wise, and then what is your greatest struggle life wise? Like,
okay, greatest struggle music wise is trying to be myself in a place in a field that's driven by trends. Because, like, you know, I don't know if you guys know a guy, his name is Ruslan. And so I was on his Patreon and I submitted some of my music. And shout out to Ruslan because he's a cool dude. And so he was giving me advice, like, I feel like you could do this and this and this, and great advice. But it was there was something that he said that it didn't offend me, but it made me think. Like, he was like, he's like, you know, you want to start doing this thing because he's like, you know, only the greats do that. And only, you know, the originators do that. These are these people that do it. So you want to do this. And I'm like, well, why can't I just build up to do that? Like the great, you know what I mean? Why do
you're keeping this secret for
I am, for a reason, because the only reason I am is because I don't want it to, how do I say it? I don't want people to feel like I'm downing other people the way they do something. That's why I'm not giving specifics. But so he was saying, if you do this thing, like, then it was like fit in with what the move is. But I was like, but I feel like that won't make me great. You know, I was taking a lot that he said, but that thing, it was like, but that takes away from, you know what I mean? And so that's my thing. That's the biggest struggle with the music is trying to stay original and believing that I might have something that's the future wave. And I feel like I don't want to crash in trying to catch up to this wave. And it's like, look up. And it's like, oh, like the new wave. And I missed it. But like, I feel like with the way I'm trying to do music and sounds could be a new wave. And so that's more so where I'm pushing. But the struggle with that is the reception, bro, because it's like you're not received because people are like, oh, I don't know about that. But you look at people like when Kanye did 808s and Heartbreaks, and then like when Kid Cudi first came out, it was like, whoa, like this is cool, but like I don't know.
Yeah, they weren't loved originally, bro. Now in hindsight, they're highly admired, and like that first Kid Cudi and 808s, they're beloved. But I agree.
I liked 808s and Heartbreak, but dude, I don't know, like your generation, Chris. Because you're a little bit younger. than me.
I'm right.
Like your generation loved 808s, whereas like me, it was like Graduation, College Dropout. Like those were the albums that still to this day are like my.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say like the OJs. I know you're a little older.
OJs. Hey, OJs go.
Yeah. Jokes aside, yeah.
So that was your music struggle.
And now in a personal, personal struggle, and like, do they intertwine?
Oh, that's a good question. Personal struggle. Yeah, they kind of do. The only reason is because with being original, it causes a separation. In your regular life, like with some of my, because it's like I've always been somebody with my friends. That's why I'm glad me and Mario have been friends so long, because I don't really keep friends long. Like we'll be friends, but like more so acquaintances, you know. But Mario is like one of my best friends, so it's like crazy. Him, like Josh, like. Oh, I'm sorry, my phone.
So popular.
Nah, one
record deal already.
It's probably an email. Spam. No, I'm playing. Groupon, yeah, bro. I'm telling you, I'm like the Spotify app, like no. So, but yeah, that's the thing. It's like. So being an original and being like, man, I want to do this.
Yeah. It
causes separation, and you get into that place because the reason it's a divide. Like I said about the personalities, is like a lot of people get to know me, and I have a lot of acquaintances that are like, Chris, we want to see you. Like we never see you. This is this, and the person that I'm presenting in my music is more of I'm on a journey.
Right.
And so with me having to present this in my music, I'm having to start, my life is kind of going that way.
Yeah.
So people are like, Chris, like, where you at? And I'm like, in the lab. Like I want to see y'all, but it's like, I can't. You know what I mean?
Things in mind.
Yeah. And sometimes the struggle about that is like, sometimes it's depending on the group, it can be a step back.
Right.
And it's not them though. Yeah. And it's hard for people to understand that. It's like,
really
it's not you, bro.
They get really offended when you're like, when you don't talk to them or associate with them the same way that you used to. And if you address them like, well, I mean, we're not really friends. Like you can't tell somebody that, especially our generation, or you're like 3 or 4 years older than us, so it's fine. But I think people in general are not receptive at all. Nope. Even if music aside, when you're just completely outgrowing each other, it's fine. It should be fine. It should be acknowledged like, oh, cool.
And you know, if they're real with themselves, they know that you ain't that type. That y'all don't really click that well.
Yes.
If they're real with themselves, but they want to get butthurt over nothing.
It's very selfish, and I think it's soft. I agree. I to an extent, I agree, because circumstances aside, you know, every relationship has its own thing, but in general, it's perfect. And I think I've told you this before. Like, if you and I were to ever outgrow or like separate or drift apart, I don't take it personally, because I'm very much aware that each of us have our own journey, you know, and I understand seasons, and I understand like certain people are going to be in your life for a certain amount of time. If they happen to be forever until the day you die, fantastic. That's great. But everyone is on their own journey, and everyone grows at their own rate, and everyone goes at their own rate. Hopefully, you know, I'm one of those forever occasions.
God, you're so popular.
Sorry, y'all. All right, I'm back. Sorry.
Settings.
Oh, did you pause it?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Scam likely.
Scam likely.
Hold on.
Yeah, I think that's something, but it's not even something that our generation has to deal with. I think it's even older generations have to deal with that. That's why you see. I refer to a previous conversation we had too. I think it was episode 1 or 2 where we were talking about titles. Okay. There are people that are in your life that have the title of significance, or at least they think it's a significance. Yeah. But because you haven't addressed that, they still think they hold some type of power over you, or or that you owe them some type of time or something like that. Yeah. And just people in general aren't receptive to that. But me, see, I don't care. Like, personally, it's not being in okay, there are Christians, I'm not, but I tend to cuss, so I'm trying not to cuss on this podcast. All right. For obvious reasons. I'm just, you know, I'm very upfront.
Yeah, you are.
And if I don't mess with you like that, I will let you know, because you'll never hear from me. Yes. Now, that's not a bad thing, nor should it be considered a bad thing, because I'm not openly telling people we're not friends. Yeah. I'm just doing my thing. And you should be doing your thing.
That's the issue.
That is the natural growth process in my head. Like, my boundary is if I ain't talking to you every day, if you're not in my routine, you shouldn't be offended when I don't blow up your phone or when I like don't hang out with you.
Yeah.
And vice versa. If I were to get offended, that's extremely hypocritical.
Yeah.
But you should know your place. Like if we ain't talking like that, you should know like, oh, it ain't like that anymore.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
So I understand what you mean by like friends or your is that sorority members or whatever?
Oh, fraternity.
Like, fraternity, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No,
whoever you consider, I understand what you mean when you say like it's difficult. And I can see how they intertwine with both Chris Cade, the artist, and then Chris Cade, the man.
Yeah.
Person.
And you know what? I'll say this too on that.
Yeah, we've been getting interruptions, but it's fine. Anyway, yeah.
I think it was me. I think I was.
No, I got one too.
Oh yeah,
it is what it is. It's fine. They'll be fine. Anyway, yeah, that's a struggle that I struggle to understand. Mm-hmm. Like I struggle to understand certain people understanding their place the same way that I understand my place. In everyone's life. Like you, for example, right? Mm-hmm. Our friendship has had a lot of transitions, right?
Yeah.
I understand. I'm here to support. Yes, I'm your best friend, but you doing your own thing. Mm-hmm. My time right now is to hang back from a distance, support you in any way I can, but you doing your own thing. And that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be a problem in general. But that's like, again, like removing religion, removing your music, removing everything. That process alone is something that people just can't seem to understand. And I think I would say my dad, my parents are very extremely traditional Mexicans. So like, even with their own family, well, I guess family members are another thing, but
that's
another one that you can't really.
Well, bro, but that's the thing though. And I've seen, if you look at it, a lot of times it's not women friends. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, cause like if they're not your, like if you're not in a relationship, most of the people that say we never see you are guys. They're your guy friends. And I just think that's very interesting because I mean, it kind of speaks to like me. I used to think like, well, I have girl,
wording.
No, let me word this right. Because I want to say we're friends. We are. But it's to this place like, I don't know. For me, I feel like, now, don't kill me for this, but guys and girls can be friends, but it has to be established in a way where I don't like you, you don't like me. And that is so hard to do. Yeah. One person has to take the L. Yeah. And so, but with guy friends, it's like we have an understanding too. So it speaks more to like the personality type more than like, cause for example, like you have guys that kind of like you're very straightforward. You have like your stuff going on. Like
you as Mario.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you as Mario. Yeah. So Mario, you have stuff where it's like, all right, bro, like I got this, like I'm doing this over here, I'm chilling, this is this. But I have other friends that are more so like, bro, like where are you at? And it's not, and it's something where they have stuff going on. But this speaks to what I was kind of talking about before about the path you want to go on. Because you could have a place where, like, in my mind, I'm like, man, I want to go here, so I know it takes this. You have that mindset, and then Clint, you have them. So Mario has that mindset, Clint has that mindset, where it's like, I have a goal, I want to go here, and I know it takes discipline to get there. Yeah. Other people that you may know, they want to get somewhere, but they don't understand that pathway is discipline. Yeah. Like, and so I can't hang out with you every day. Like, and they'll be like, well, why haven't I seen you? It's like, and it used to bother me because I was like, not because I feel bad. No. Yeah. It was the other way. Like, I was kind of like, why aren't you doing anything? Like it would kind of, and so that's why I say sometimes it's acquaintances versus friends. Because I feel like Mario, Mario's a good friend of mine, and Clint, we haven't known each other long, but I definitely want to grow that friendship. But it's one of them things where it's like y'all would be friends of that going somewhere with, because y'all have an understanding like me. Like I can tell Mario, hey, bro, I can't make it. Like, like even though like I'll be like, oh, let me look at my schedule. Sorry, bro, I can't make it. He'll be like, all right, it's cool. And I'm like, see. And I always say the same thing. I'm like, see, bro, that's why he's my friend, because he understands if Chris says he can't make it, he's doing something that is trying to build something. Right. But I can tell somebody else that, and they're like, oh, like you're making excuses
again.
Like, and it's like, first of all, you're a grown man. Like, why is this energy? You know what I mean? And I don't even, and that's my thing that kind of gets me, is I don't even get that. Like, I could tell that to a girl. That's why it's changing, bro. It's changing, because I could tell one of my female friends that, like, hey, I thought I could make it, can't make it, I'm sorry. They'd be like, oh no, it's okay, no problem. Like, I know you're doing something. And I'm like, that shit, because usually with women, and not generalizing, but like sometimes with women, they're more so like, oh, like I want to see you. But the difference is they'll do that if they're interested in you. Yeah. But like if you're just their friend, they're like, oh, cool. Like it don't matter. Exactly. And so like with I feel like with guys, that's why we need that purpose driven, because I'm going off into something else. But like that's because a lot of with women, that's why they need that, because they're like, I should be able to be that way with you. You shouldn't be that way with me, which is like a double standard. But they're like, I should be chasing after you. Like, why aren't you giving me your time? You shouldn't be coming to me like, where are you?
Right.
Like, So bro.
No, I think it's one thing where I differentiate, or I think I want to add on.
Okay, go ahead.
Clinton may disagree. It's okay.
I already disagree.
All right. That was fast.
Anyway, that was today's episode.
All right, thanks for
before we get canceled.
having me.
No, so I think it's important to. You're saying it's different, Chris. You just said it is different.
I did.
This is me acknowledging and supporting, because I acknowledge there are women who are the same way, like as that state of mind, as state of thinking. Who are not dependent. So when we make general statements like women need that, I agree. The general population needs that. Most of them. Like I want to say out of 100, this is completely guesstimating based off of my experiences with women before my girlfriend. She's clearly the outlier on paper. I'm supposed to say that, right?
We back you.
Yeah. But out of 100, I want to say maybe 2. Generally speaking, I've had nothing but experiences where women exude double standards. And like, you can't have that literal friend relationship with them. Otherwise, it's like their behavior will be like, y'all know I'm saying the truth. If you disagree, just leave a comment or whatever. Don't follow me. I don't care. So Mario, not the podcast.
Good man.
No, but entitlement, or belittling, or thinking they're better than you by their behavior, or completely ignoring you when you were like, wait a minute, we were cool. This was established. Right. Where is this energy coming from?
But I have to ask though, are these women interested in you romantically?
In the past, where I have not felt anything, and when they notice that, I have told them, I'm cool with just being cool with you. You are an actual good time. It's all good. I'm not tripping. Never works out. I actually, after high school, 2 female friends who I don't even really talk to, but I still consider them, let's go get coffee, let's go eat some pho, whatever. But only 2. I don't have more than that, because again, those are the 2 or 3 out of 100 that I've associated with. That's what I'm saying. Like,
same. Okay,
it may be a general statement, but my experiences tell me that it's true. But with men, now see, it's also changing for men. and you've probably seen this in your circle of whoever it is you choose to give titles to. Men are now starting to get sensitive too. Though all three of us
I'm
here
feeling sensitive right now.
have a very it's okay, you'll be fine. Though the three of us have a like-minded perspective of like masculinity and like how we should carry ourselves. Men now, in general, have a lot more feminine traits to them.
And women have more masculine traits.
Behavior-wise.
Roles are just going opposite.
Yeah. And I think that's something else to note because it makes it very difficult to differentiate titles between sexes and who it is that you choose to give your time to. Because you can have a very good female friend. It is possible. But in the same light, you can also have a very good guy friend, but I don't know.
I don't understand.
I confused myself.
No, I think it's because I think you're saying like since the roles have reversed, it's like now you can have a friendship with a female friend the way you would have had a friendship with the male friend and not have that energy of
because
like,
there's
where
no
are you?
polarity.
Like,
She's inner masculine, so you're not attracted.
So
you're
inner
masculine.
So y'all can have to understand like, oh, you're working, all right, cool. Like you're going on your purpose, bet,
cool,
right?
But now the guys are more so like, I never see you. Like where you at, bro? And you know the crazy thing is, sometimes this is a crazy thing. Because with my like one of my past girlfriends, I've only had a few, so I have to say one of so they won't know. So one of my past girlfriends, she was very masculine. She had very masculine energy, and
okay.
So and what I found was in hindsight, she was pulling the feminine energy out of me. If that makes sense, like. I found myself becoming more feminine. And so it was like a battle for the headships. And like, I would be like, I remember like when we first met, like, I was like, well, like, I hope I get to like see you again. Like, I hope, which would be like, okay, that's cool. Like, but I saw that it was like, she was like, oh yeah, of course. Like, yeah, I'd like to see you too. And then as it went, it was kind of like, why aren't you? And I was like, why aren't you texting me back? Like, where are you? Oh, like, hey, well, I was working, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, bro, what am I doing? Like, and I found myself like doing that where I was like, I never see you. Like, I never. And I was like, bro, what am I doing? You know, and the crazy thing is, I used to think that, you know how women will say, like the more masculine women will be like, I just need a guy that can handle me, quote unquote. I found that what that means is because I used to think it was a personality thing where it's like, oh, you just want me to put up with your personality. But I'm finding it's a deeper thing where it's like, no, I want somebody to, and don't kill me for this, but I've seen it.
They're gonna kill you.
Yeah, they will. I love you, ladies. But it's been something where deep down, they want somebody to change them. They want somebody that they can, for example, because in that relationship, I've realized I tested it. And like, we used to have like bad arguments and really go back and forth. And I was giving into that. And so then after a while, I was like, it was like, why aren't you doing this? I was like, you know what? Because I don't care. Oh, this is this. I'm like, look, I got things to do. Like, what are we doing? And from there, I saw it get toned. Like not me trying to like, oh, I'm gonna manipulate her. But I realized like, man, I really have stuff to do. Like, I need to like be going in my purpose. And from that, it was like she recognized like, oh, wait a minute. Like, it wasn't a manipulation thing. Like, oh, he might leave. Like, it was more so like, oh, he realizes who he is. And so the respect level, it started to change where it was like, oh, well, like, and she kind of back like, well, I'm just saying like, you know, I'm sorry. Like, you know, and it was like, oh, you know, and so there's a lot of women that are like masculine, I feel like, but it comes from the society thing. But when they say, I need a guy that can handle me, really, they just need somebody that is like, I do love you. but I do have things to do, but I would like you to be with me. You know how ladies will be like, where you going? Oh, I'm going to Taco Bell. And it's like, oh, well, like, I mean, you know, if you wanted me to go, like, I would go with you. And it's like, oh, like, you want to go?
Didn't ask.
I didn't, yeah. And it was like, oh, and it's that thing where they want you to invite them along. And it's not saying like, oh, be submissive, because submissive is so taboo now, but even though that's what it is, but it's so taboo. But really it's that thing of, I want to see you're doing something in your life and you want me to be a part of it. So going back to our previous conversation, it's changing because now guys aren't going forward in their purpose. No. So they're able to sit back with those feelings and be like, bro, I never see you. And it's like, bro, you got stuff to do. Like, I know you've told me dreams that you have.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not just making up like every guy has a purpose. Like, we do, but it's like you literally sat down and told me like, bro, I want to do this and this. And I'm like, bet, like, let's work together. But you can't be like, come, like, I want to see.
Even if you have the resources, you don't do it.
You don't do it.
And that's even before I became or developed into who I am now, who I'm becoming.
Yeah.
I remember for years I told you and Josh, shout out Josh, he's a real one, man.
Yeah. That guy's crazy.
I remember telling y'all all the time, I don't want to see y'all every day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I have stuff to do or I'm looking for something to do. I don't want to see my friends every day.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to get tired of you. One. But two, when I had started thinking like, I don't want to surround myself with people that just want to hang out all day.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What the hell are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a cuss word? Sorry. Anyway, whatever.
It's a location.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Is that on Google? I think it's I-45. Anyway,
south,
right?
Way south,
straight up. Yeah. Anyway,
super south. Go ahead.
Yeah, and you. Oh crap! What was I saying?
No, you were talking about like you don't see.
I don't want to see my friends all day because I feel like you should be doing something with your time.
Yeah,
I don't care if you're at the gym. I don't care if you're winning a tournament online. Like, no, do something.
Yeah,
live your life.
Stop.
Bro.
Your existence should not be depending on my existence.
Right.
I should be a benefit to you, not a necessity.
Right.
So, shut up.
Yeah.
And go do something.
And look, I want to get into the benefit, and then I want to see your thoughts on this too, Clint. Like even what you said, the benefit word, because like I feel like even with that position on, you being like, I should be a benefit to your life. Some guys will be like, they try and put you in that position that a lot of women are supposed to be in, that support role, where they're like, yeah, bro, like, I want you to be my support system. And it's like, bro, it's not, but see, that's the thing. It's become that where it's like guys are like, yeah, bro, like, come on, like, come hang out with me. Like, we could talk about our ideas and stuff like that. And it's like, bro, it's not supposed to be like that. I'm not supposed to be your support system. You're not supposed to be my support system. That's usually, well, if you're a heterosexual male, if that's supposed to be filled by your lady, she's supposed to be that support system to you. And you know what I mean? And that's really how it's been. But I think because there's been like an absence of the ladies being like, I want to word this right, not put in that position, but
the traditional role.
Yeah, and not like cook and clean and stuff, but like giving them an opportunity to be that support system to you. I think now guys that are friends
what do you
are
mean
like,
by support system?
Like, okay, so
emotional support?
No.
Okay.
And because I think that's what because I think a lot of times with masculine, we put in, if you work, if you do this and this and this. But I think like ladies help you in your work too. Like really emotionally, if we look at women sometimes can give you emotional, they can make you emotionally sober. And sometimes you'll catch yourself and be like, like, oh, I just don't know what to do, and this is a lot of stuff like that. Like, babe, we're gonna be all right. Like, we gonna make it. And they'll present you with some, they'll bring the sobriety. So I think them just being emotional, sometimes they come with you with the other side of the energy. Like, you're being emotional. Like, and it's a balance.
Yeah.
And so in that way, with guys not really having a lot of female partners nowadays, like they said this is the biggest time when guys haven't really had female partners. Like everybody's been kind of doing their own thing. Yeah. And with that being the case, now friends that are guys, like, it's nothing like romantic, but guys are trying to take on guys that'll be like, bro, like, be my support. Like, and it's like, yeah, man, I got you. Like, and look, even how you're looking at me is like, bro, that's kind of,
because I don't quite understand what support means.
I can define it based on my experience.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
I'll define it to the best of my ability. So the woman can be independent, do her own thing. It's perfectly fine. If anything, I encourage it. My girl does that.
Mm-hmm.
But supportive in the sense of like, literally, she's told me this. Oh, that's what you want to do? Do it. How are you going to do it? Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea. You should do that. Yeah. You see, that support, because she's your partner or a partner, because I think it applies to
an encouragement to you.
Yeah, an encouragement, but that is invaluable and a challenge, because having that accountability to your partner. If you're a traditional, or you want to be a traditional man, you have to understand your word is power. Right. So if you're saying, baby, I want to do this, this, and this, what do you think? And the traditional aspect of support, the woman is like, well, yeah, I think you should do it. How do you want to do it? Da, 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 da. After having that conversation, you need to lead by example and say,
and do it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. See, I think that's another aspect of this that we're not looking at, which is where we don't have to enter dating. We can just talk about the social construct of relationships and like that.
Yeah.
I think that there are non-traditional men wanting traditional women and non-traditional women wanting traditional men.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have both.
That's what
it's not just one or the other.
Right.
And look, and I'll say this with the support thing that I was talking about is guys, like, they're looking that, I'm glad you said that, because where the woman role is supposed to fit as a support, like you're talking about, to challenge you and ask you questions like, how are you going to do this? You said you want to do this, or bring it back up. Like, you said you were going to do this a week ago. Why aren't you doing it?
Right.
And as guys, you have a choice to either be like, woman, I'm tired of hearing this, or be like, she's right. But the guys that say she's right know, okay, this is what she's here for, to challenge me to go up. Now, with guys not having those partners, they're trying to turn a supportive person into a support group. And so when guys are like, bro, I haven't seen you, they're trying to get you to support them, but they want it to be a conversation. Like, let's all get together and talk about our woes, rather than, because when you start doing action, y'all separate every time.
Yeah.
But when you're talking, it's easy to talk in a group, like to be, and that's what guys want, because there's nobody to fill that support role to be like, y'all are just sitting here talking. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, and I promise you, every time guys are like, all right, guys, like, we need to go and do what we've been wanting to do, everybody separates. And guys are in a place where I don't want to be alone. So they're like, and I can't get the woman I want. So if you guys have the same problem, let's make a support group where we can all be each other's support system. But the only problem with that, no work gets done.
Ever. All you're doing is
that's what I mean for support.
Gotcha.
Yeah, go ahead.
You're just entering an echo chamber.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I've been in those circles, and there's no shame in it, because I see it as a season. But it's up to you, the man or person, really, because I know women can do that too. I know women can recognize each other's BS. I know they can.
Yeah, they
My
can.
sisters are two very good examples of those types of women that can, like, they'll see the BS and they're just like, all right, sis, you do your own thing.
Yeah,
that's it.
They do.
So anyway, it's okay to be in a supportive group of friends where you all talk about things like, oh yeah, we want to do this, this, and this. But it's your job as a person to say, yeah, I do want to do that. Let me go. That's where you're saying, and it makes sense. Yeah, there's always going to be a natural diversion or division in the group or, your friends when you're all doing something with your life. I don't think it's productive to constantly see your friends and you're just doing the same thing every time.
That's the issue, because you should be able to meet, and it's not a support group, because it's like we're all going. How do I say it? Like, it's not the support group in the sense that I was saying.
Right.
It's more so like a meeting. It becomes a meeting of or an update. Like, hey, like I'm doing this. Like, oh, bet. Like, we see you.
Yeah.
Rather than like support me in my wanting to stand still. Like, you know what I mean? And
it should be like an inspiration type of
thing. Where you're updating your friends like, oh, y'all look. And it's like, bet. And we can have meetings in a different place.
Yeah. Like council.
Yeah.
And that's why like they have roundtables.
Yeah.
It's like that was their time to make decisions and grow and that makes sense.
And who sat at the round table?
What is his name?
The disciples.
No. It wasn't. Well, I was talking.
What was his name?
I was. What was it?
Yeah, with the sword in the stone.
King Arthur.
Yeah.
But
oh wow.
No, I was going. But I appreciate you. Right? They did sit around the table. But in that sense of it being King Arthur, it was the great knights. Of the round table.
Knights of the round table.
Knights of the round table. And they were all knights, and they all knew, hey, we all go out in battle.
Yeah.
But the problem is, a lot of guys are forming support groups where it's like one person might be a knight in
pity parties.
Yeah.
What you're saying.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah.
And you got one knight that's like, hey, y'all, like, I know y'all want to be
That's
knights.
the Red Pill community as a whole.
Yes. 1,000%.
Bro.
That is
that was so passionate that made me feel good.
That was bro.
Because it's true. Like, okay, let's remove women from the equation because they're a part of the equation of dating, but let's remove them. Dog, I've deliberately separated myself from men who are just constantly like, women ain't nothing, women this, women that, women that. Meanwhile, you living at your mama's house. You have a broke down car and you have a job that pays you $10 an hour. Dog.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
And they have the parrot syndrome.
Yeah.
Where they see a video on the red pill and they repeat the same things like, oh, get you a younger woman so you can groom her. Get this is it. But I'm like, bro, like, you're not living any, like, you're right. It's just a complaint. And so at first, I'm not going to lie. That community got me for a little bit because now I'm gonna say this, but they've got now. I will say this: they've got good stuff in there.
Yeah,
yes.
No, there's a lot of truth.
Yeah, there's a lot of truth
sprinkled lies.
Yeah, bro, and which was with a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. Like they have that to where it's like, yeah, you're right. This is it. But then you have to get to a place where you say, now wait a minute. At the end of the day, I do want a woman.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a victim mentality.
Yeah, bro. Because a lot of them, like there's a good dude I follow and he says good stuff. But like I remember I saw this post on Twitter and this guy was like, man, like I'm single out here. Like, man, I really want a good woman. And this guy was like, bro, like focus on yourself. Like, like keep your mind on your purpose, like, and then our age is at 35 when we really thrive and like this, get you a younger woman, blah, blah, blah. And the guy was like, and he was like, see, like that's what I did and like, and now I'm super successful. He was like, bro, I don't want to be like you. And I was like, that is the realest thing ever. He was like, I know that's good, but I don't want to be, I want to have a wife and I want to, you know what I mean? And so a lot of guys have gone the super like red, like super like
inside level.
Yeah, because you look at a color spectrum and red is like way. That's why they chose red because it was like at the very end, and it's like I understand what y'all are saying.
Oh, for real?
I think so.
I thought that was based on the Matrix.
No, it is. It is.
Okay.
But I just
it is.
It is
red or blue, and you choose red, and it's okay.
You're both right.
Yeah, bro. I was just saying this is another example.
Gotcha.
But it's like like it's the complete. They go so far into it, and so then you like watch a few videos, but the problem. That's why I said. That's why with that support group, it takes some. There's always a separation when you decide. Okay, I want to go do work now because it's easy to be like, man, she did this and this is this, and everybody's like, oh, and all this stuff, and everybody's like, oh, but then you sit there for a while and the stories begin to be the same, and you're like, bro, have I heard this story before? And every post is like, see, women, this is it, women, and I'm like, yeah, but they do have good qualities. Like you start to be like, wait a minute, like, what am I doing? You know,
like there's
the problem is that men don't look at women as like the woman challenges men to grow. And if you don't look at it as an opportunity to grow, you're just looking at the resistance that the woman brings you as something to tear you down rather than to build you up.
That's right.
Women test you to make you a better man. And they like, I really think, I really believe this, that a man without a woman living his whole life and a man with a woman living his whole life, the man with the woman, saying that they were equal starting off, right?
And there's
the man with the woman is going to develop to be stronger.
Yes.
I really believe that. And the reason, so like if we're going to take this to like Eastern philosophy, the feminine is represented as chaos and the masculine is represented as order. And in order to maintain that nature of order, you have to have that counterbalance.
Right.
And that counterbalance of the chaos makes you better at sustaining order.
That's perfect. Because if you think about it like this, what makes Batman stronger?
The Joker.
Right.
Yeah.
It's always adversity that makes you stronger.
Yes.
And even if we take it to the Bible and look at Adam and Eve, the reason the Lord had because the red pill community be like, see, you see what Eve did? This is this.
Yeah.
But if you look at what God said to Adam, he was like, bro, this on you.
Yeah, he was
because I'm the one that told you what to do.
Right.
And Eve, all she was doing was challenging you. Now, was Eve at fault too? Yes, she was.
Yeah.
But it was still that thing where God was still looking at Adam like, bro, she is challenging you.
Yeah.
Because that's why she had it first.
Yeah.
And then she was like, here you go. Now he was like, what did I tell you?
Right.
And so a lot of guys it's a victim, like you said.
Yeah, it's a victim mentality.
Both of y'all said that.
Yeah.
But it's a victim mentality to be like, see, they do this, and blah, blah. And like that's why I love the roommates. Because they always talk about that too, like about building high character. Like that's the first like thing they tell me, and they're like, "Man, stop like blaming women from your problems and stop putting it on other people."
Right. Yeah.
Look at you, because a lot of times when you look at you and say, "What solution can I find?" That's how you grow. Because it's like, if nobody was helping me, what would I do? If I didn't have nobody to blame, what would I do? And society really has made a comfort in being able to blame and being like, oh, I'm good. All I gotta do is blame.
Right.
But for the people that are thriving, they're the people that say, no, nobody's gonna help me. That's why when you mentioned about getting it out of the mud and stuff like that, it became a thing where they were like, bro, I'm so successful because nobody would help me. So I was like, you know what? Like, and those are the people that you're like, let me help you, bro. And they're like, and they're hesitant because they're like, I mean, I've been doing it all this time. So then when they do receive help, they're able to get boosted so much because they're like, bro, I was already going to do it, but you're just pushing me further, bro. So.
And see, the problem is we live in a culture right now. No, we do. We live in a culture where you can blame it on anything. Oh, well, if I was taller, then this would happen. If I was this skin color, this would happen. If I was this gender, this would happen. If.
Holy hell.
Dang. We got interrupted by a lightning storm that kind of caused this thing to stop, but we're back, and I'm back on my rant.
It happened.
I'm back on my rant. Anyway, so the problem is we live in a society where you can blame everything, every reason why you're not where you want to be or why you don't have what you want on something external. rather than adopting responsibility and figuring out a way. And it's like that classic saying of shoot for the moon, and even if you don't make it, you land among the stars. It's like it's better to just try and go after what you want and resist all of that pointing fingers mentality and that victim mentality of like, oh, if I was just this, then women would like me. Oh, women only want 6 foot tall guys that have 6 packs with 6 figures. It's like that all of that victim mentality instead of being like, okay, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever it takes in order to get this accomplished.
Yes, bro.
You know,
that's
and
right.
it's like, dude, anyway.
Good, bro. You got
like,
it.
Okay. What we all need to do is accept the fact that when you're playing poker, you get dealt a hand. And it's not going to be fair. Mario may get a better hand than me, and Chris may get a lesser hand than me. But we all have to play the hand that we were dealt. And it's like, because we have no better option. The best option you can do is play the hand that you have and use it strategically with what you have. Don't blame and cry and then try and steal cards and cheat in the game. You play fair and you play it right. And you develop and you grow and you get stronger. And you may not be the one that achieves it, but you're inspiring somebody else to achieve it. And then they inspire somebody else. And eventually somebody succeeds. And you just completely rearrange the game. Like Martin Luther King, he didn't let that stop him. You know, he could have said, oh, well, if I was this or if I was that or if I was white or whatever excuse he could have made. But he made a difference. And he didn't use violence either. He went about it peacefully. But he's a name that streets all over the United States are named after. They have a dedicated day in his honor. It's like, quit making excuses, bro. Quit blaming everybody for your situation. Why you were in this situation? What are you going to do to change about it? Like, what are you going to do to change it? It's like, quit crying about why you're in this situation and grow a pair and be a man. Overcome adversity. That's one of the characteristics of being a grown-up in general, not even just being a man, being a mature human being. It's like, okay, quit crying and figure out a way to overcome your struggles. Yeah, bro. No, bro, you're right. look, the passion, bro. That's it. And you know, that's the thing. But see, that's the issue with what society has provided because they've gone so much into. But see, how do I say this? Now I'm gonna say it. The thing is, society doesn't even follow what they're showing, right? Because the people that run everything, that are at the top, live by stop crying and do what you're supposed to do. But what they present to the other is like a form of control. And so they present that mentality of you could be whatever you want. Like, you know what I mean? Oh, it's not working out for you. Like, just do something else. Like, oh, like one day you'll get there. Like, oh, don't worry. Like, oh, you were dealt a bad hand. Like it's okay. Like, just hang back. Like but the people that are actually succeeding and doing things are like, yeah, but we're going to do what we need to do and we're going to stop crying. Right. And so and really that's the problem because people, now if you want to use a Matrix reference, that would be red pill, blue pill, where people will take it willingly. I think the blue pill was like returned back to, right. So people will be like, give me that blue pill because they're like, I want to be in a place where I can use excuses. Right. And I had to let that go. I had to let that go where it was, that was in my mind too, where I was like, man, like this isn't working out. This isn't working. But I realized, I was like, man, what I'm doing now isn't working. Like I've been doing this for years and I was like, excuses are not tangible. Like they get me nothing. And so I had to make a decision where I was like, you know what? In order to succeed, that's what I was talking about, like that bowling, the bowling thing, because the whole time, like I was like,
well, Chris, like, why do I have to focus on like winning and stuff like that and, pushing past my limits? Because it gets tiring. Like, you're like, man, but I had to focus every time I bowled. Like, it was like, no, like, I want to be the best I can be. Like, I want to beat people, and not physically, but sometimes.
Right.
No, but I want to win. Like, I do. And it separates. Like, I was talking about that separation. And so society is separated by that same thing. And a lot of people, they pretend they don't realize it. But it's true. It's like you look on Instagram and you see these people like, oh, I just got me a new Bugatti. I just got me a new. It's like, man, see, like they devil worshiper, and it's like,
right,
not necessarily, no, really. And so that's why. And so to go back to what I was talking about what I want to do with my music, bro, like. As a church, I've heard so many people like, see, it's because he worshiped the devil. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, let's give you that. Like, it's because he worshiped the devil. How much more then can God do if the devil is doing all this? Yes. How much more should we have? Yeah. And so that's where I want people to realize, like with all the stuff that we read and the stuff that we look at, we gotta make a decision to say, maybe God is telling me to do stuff and I'm just not doing it. Yeah. And that's why I'm not seeing. And like one thing that I'll say is I had a realization, and I told my sister about it, that people have to be more purpose driven. Mm-hmm. And of course, when people think about it like, man, I need to go after my purpose. I need to do this is this. But I've realized when you're driven by something, that means you're in the passenger seat. Yeah. That means whatever it takes that they're driving. Yeah. And so it'd be like, if I was saying I'm Mario driven, that means Mario's driving and I'm riding in the passenger. So wherever Mario's going, I'm going. Yeah. So the problem is people were like, man, I need to be purpose driven, but they're the ones driving and the purpose is like, let me drive. And they're like, you could drive for a little bit, but no, this is uncomfortable. Right. Rather than being like, I'm riding in the back, so purpose, wherever you take me, I'm just a passenger. Yeah. So, bro, that's what's going to take.
And you had mentioned about blaming the devil. Yeah. One of my pastors from the past, he used to say, whenever you're complaining about the devil, that's praising him. That's only elevating him. Yeah. With all of that energy you could be using to glorify God, because whatever the devil's doing, he's going to and fro. He's one person. Right. Meanwhile, you don't think God's doing more than what that one being that can only be in one place at a time, whereas God is omnipresent. He's hearing everything. Whatever the devil's doing, God's doing way more. The devil's not outworking God, but we're here like focusing so much attention on what the devil is doing. Oh man, the devil sure is busy. The devil sure is busy. It's like, so God's not busier? Right. As busy as the devil is, God's not busier. It's like, but you want to focus all your attention on the devil because you have a victim mentality. And it's like any bad thing that happens in your life, it's not the devil. Maybe it's either God trying to have you grow, or maybe you got yourself into that situation and you need to adopt responsibility for your actions.
Yeah. You're not listening.
Yeah. Looking at it through a different lens, but applying that same philosophy. I have acknowledged the existence of God, and I do also acknowledge the existence of the devil. Yeah. But I see the devil not as this being that is out to get me. I see it as like characteristics or behaviors, right? So like things that people complain about, blame the devil, or like somebody's successful. Well, I would say you have the devil in you because you're lazy, you're complacent, you're a complainer, you have negative attributes, right? That you could say, actually, that's the devil right there. His presence is in you by allowing you to have those attributes to your persona.
His spirit.
His spirit is in you, even if you don't realize it, but you're blaming everything else on the devil.
And look, let me, and that's good. I'm going to actually take it a step further because even if the devil is not in you, see, that's the thing. We as humans have already fall into a place where this is naturally us.
Yeah.
Yes.
We naturally have this stuff.
Yeah.
So really the devil really be sitting back and just let us be us.
Yeah.
He's like, if you're not listening to what God has for you, I ain't got to do nothing. Like, you're going to work against yourself. So exactly what you're saying is, and the devil's like, I don't even have to spend my time on you. I could come to you and be like, but like, you can chill if you want to. And it's like, I could. And then he's like,
it is
and
nice,
he'll just leave.
Yeah,
it's nice chilling. That's really what he did with Adam and Eve. He was just like, hey, I know what God said, but don't that fruit look good? And she was like, I never thought of it.
Yeah.
And he was like, he just faded off like deuce.
Yeah.
And so then when she ate it, she was like, oh, dang, I messed up. Here, Adam. And it was something where all he did was just kick over a domino. That's all he does. He just hits the domino and says, I'm out.
Yeah.
And because he's like, I don't have enough time. Like, I'm not like God. So I can't be everywhere.
Right.
So all I can do is play off of the human nature.
Mm-hmm.
So I could just say, oh, I know you're naturally a cheater.
Yeah.
If you're not somebody that is loyal.
Mm-hmm.
So I can go to you and be like, hey, like, don't she look good? And you're like, and he's like, and then it runs and runs and runs until you say, no, I don't want to do this. I'm doing this until a decision is made. Because that's what I'm learning. Like with life, a life is full of decisions. And I had to realize, I was like, you know what? I don't make enough decisions in my life. I'll make one decision and then another decision doesn't come up. And I'm like, unless it's what am I going to eat? What am I going to wear? Yeah. Like, other than that, I'm like, I'm supposed to be making more life decisions than I am. But I realized I had built a camp around like the stuff that I was supposed to be doing, the bigger obstacles that I was supposed to be breaking through. Mm-hmm. I had built a camp right in front of it. Mm-hmm. And so I was presented with the same obstacle, like the same decision. So it'd be like if you were I remember like with the Israelites, they had something where they were supposed to be somewhere in 11 days. It was an 11-day journey. Mm-hmm. It took them 40 years to get there. Mm-hmm. And
whoa, really?
Yeah. So in the Bible, when Moses had brought them out of Egypt, it was supposed to be an 11-day trip. But they were tripping so bad that it took them 40 years to get there. And the people that made it there, they all died. Like God had to kill, well, not kill, but kind of. They all had to die before they could even
go. So the land of milk and honey, per se?
Yeah. Yes, that's it. Canaan, Canaan. They didn't make it to Canaan until 40 years later, and all the original people died. It was only their ancestors that made, I mean, not their ancestors, their generations after, their descendants, there you go, that made it in. Wow. Yeah, and
I didn't know that.
Yeah, bro. And look, let me tell you this too. Throughout the journey, they kept saying, even though God was showing them, look, I made water come out of a rock. Look, I turned this rock into bread. Look, I killed Pharaoh and his people. Look, I let you walk through an ocean. They were still like, we need to go back to Egypt because you brought us out here to kill us. And Moses was like, bro, like y'all were slaves and y'all were praying, Lord, bring me out. Yeah. So a lot of times our human nature works. That's the thing working against us. And the devil just says, hey, isn't Egypt better? And then he dips out and then you're like, we need to go back to Egypt. And it doesn't even make sense, but your human side already leans that way. Yeah. It's already like, what will work best for me?
Right.
Even when it doesn't, it's like, I just want to do something different.
Right.
But like when it comes to what God has for you, he'll be like, hey, do this and you'll see success. Yeah. And you're like, I could do that anytime I want to. Right.
Yeah.
But I could also do this. Yeah. And so we feel like since we have choices, like, and this is the last thing I'll say. Well, not last thing, but like, even going back to Adam and Eve, the thing that they were presented with that they never had was a choice. That's all the devil brought to them. It was a new perspective that God was like, look, I put y'all here, it's going to be all good. It was all good. Yeah. They had food, they had animals, they had all this. And all the devil did was say, but have you ever thought about this? And because it was new, it'd be like me only having ranch as a dipping sauce. And then somebody be like, have you ever tried ketchup? And I'd be like, no, I haven't. but there's something in me that's gonna say, I wonder what that tastes like.
Yeah.
And that's what, as humans, that's what we have in us to be like, I never had a choice. And we feel like what that is we feel like we have the power. But the reason the world has really tricked us and society has tricked us is because they give us low level choices.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, what are y'all gonna eat? Are y'all gonna go to McDonald's? Hey, y'all like these shoes or these shoes? And so we're presented with things while they deal with stuff like, all right, are we gonna go to war or not? And so a lot of us are put in this place where, here kids, y'all can play with this, y'all can make these decisions. But then it really, for us to really be where we want to be, we have to be willing to break through and then be like, hey, what are you doing? All right, well, now that you're up here, you got to make, are you going to invest all your money in this or this? And it's like, ooh, like it's risky up here, but like that's how life, if you want to go to a greater height, that's how life is supposed to be. You're supposed to be at a place where it's like, I got bigger decisions to make. But if you're making the same decision, you're like, I'm trapped somewhere. Like I'm stuck somewhere, bro.
Yeah, so. to move up or move on in life, you have to be willing to sacrifice not just your time, but also who it is you know to be yourself. Like that complacency, and see here, we're dragging it on.
That's a good.
It's really great, but we're going on like an hour and a half total.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to push.
But no, we're not tripping. I'm just saying it's like the weather is horrible out right now.
Oh yeah.
I don't want nobody to drown.
Yeah, you good.
Let's try to. Anyway,
go ahead.
We'll see.
Yeah, you good.
Look, I hold people accountable because I know everybody thinks at some point. I don't care how your IQ or anything like that, unless you're special needs and it's like acknowledged, like, no, you literally don't have the ability to do some things. Every single person has that ability to think, I really could do this. Yeah. But the moment you say, but, you've already convinced yourself that, nah, I think I'll do it later. Or this, all this extra stuff. When you have the time or like the resources that you have, really there are, in some instances, enough to get you going, but it's that complacency. It's those attributes. It's that domino effect of like the devil, if you want to look at it through that lens. It's he's just saying, but I'm tired. Bing, there's a domino. I am tired. Let me go to sleep. I'll do it tomorrow. But I don't have the money for it. Bing, you're too broke. All right, well, I guess that's it. I'm not going to do anything.
That's the end of that. Yeah.
When really you could think of it like, clearly I need to get a job. Or I need to get a second job. Or I need to find more time. I need to have less time to have freedom and more time to be dedicated to whatever it is I want to do. Yeah. Like, I think that looking at it again through that religious lens, it's like God is trying to put, it's in your nature through God. Choosing to live your life through God, the way I see it, is acknowledging that God is in control, but because he's in control, you have to abide by what it is he wants to do for you and be willing to do that. The way you do that is accepting, like, okay, I'm not comfortable anymore with being who I was, and I feel like I need some guidance. God is that guidance. I'm going to be uncomfortable, but I trust in you to take me on this journey because I know that in the end, I'm going to be not just a vessel to serve you, but a better person overall. That is my understanding of it. That's my understanding of it, at least. Yeah. And so tying it back to the first thing that started this whole thing is, I see why you want to make music. It's not just like to self-fulfill, and it's not just to, obviously, I mean, you want to make music, be creative. That's your personality. But I can see why you would see it as a necessity to, and I can see why, even if, again, I'm not religious, but I understand, like, you have a relationship with God that you feel, or like, no, he's told you, like, nah, this is what you're going to do because this is what I need you to do. Yeah. And then that's you believing and entrusting in him that this is the right path and that you're just like, I'm going to figure it out. That's it.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, you're exactly right. And that's the tough part because And with that purpose that it gives you, you have to make a decision because you can't follow his purpose from both sides.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the stuff that he'll tell you to do, a lot of times can be opposite of what everybody else is doing. Or it can be like it, but it's like, but this is something new. Or like, it'll be something like, yeah, this is like them, this is like them. Oh, but when you get here, don't accept this. And you're like, but God, all this funding, this will take me here. And he's like, nah, don't do that. And so the struggle is, like I said about being purpose driven, is allowing the purpose to drive you until you reach your destination. And a lot of people are like, okay, this is good. And then as soon as it's like, all right, but now you do this. And it's something where we feel like this doesn't make sense. We're like, okay, you could drop me off right here. And so that's been my thing, is I've been having to be molded into something that I don't know what it's going to come out to be. Mm-hmm. And like, I don't know the end. Like, of course I can say like, okay, this is what I believe is going to go. But knowing the ins and out and every stop and stuff and every obstacle and things, I don't know. Mm-hmm. And so with that, I'm like, all right, God, I gotta trust you. I gotta trust you, because if I don't, like, if I can't trust you for a little bit and then get dropped off. It's like you riding and then y'all start passing stuff you don't know and you're like, all right, I don't know anymore. Let me out. And it's like, if I let you out, you're going to end up somewhere you don't know. You know what I mean? So, and so you have to go through those times where you don't recognize it. So bro, that's why I want to make music so people can see there's more.
And I think it's necessary, even if, again, religious views aside, there's such a need for guidance in the world right now. That's why dating coaches are so popular. That's why certain social media personalities are popular, because everyone's looking for some sort of guidance.
Yeah, bro.
And I think, again, religious things aside, your knowledge, what you're trying to do, is a noble cause.
Yeah.
And I think that you're approaching it the right way by acknowledging and believing that God is wanting you to go down this path, and then that you'll have the impact that you're going to have in time, even if it's not something you may see now, because even if it's not something that you think may work at times, it's human, it's fine.
Yeah,
but I respect that.
Yeah.
And to end it there, I think this is a pretty good podcast.
Yeah.
We've been going for, I don't know how long now.
Yeah.
But one more time, where can people find your album, man?
Oh, y'all can find me chrisk.bandcamp.com. And so it's Chris, and then my last name is CADE. So like a lot of people hear that and they think K, but no. Chris, CADE.
CADE. Go ahead and plug in your IG or Twitter, whatever you want.
Oh yeah, y'all can follow me on Instagram, Chris Cade Official. I also have a Facebook page, Chris Cade Official, and y'all get updates on all the links. And then my Twitter is artist Chris Cade, because I couldn't get Chris Cade Official.
Oh man!
Don't you hate when they all match except that?
Right?
It's like, oh yeah, and Twitter Funky Chicken. It's like, oh man.
Dang it!
I almost had it.
And yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
This is Mario
and Clint
and Chris Cade.
We're out.